Hello and welcome to the United Stand. This is the Manchester United Transfer Daily where we talk about all the latest Manchester United transfer news and give it that real fan opinion. And we've got some big, genuinely good news straight out of Manchester United today in relation to Jose Mourinho, who did not deny that there's a good possibility that Manchester United may delve into the transfer market over the next few weeks. Exciting, isn't it? Especially if you've got to go back to work after Christmas. But it is from Jose Mourinho, and we'll be talking about who, what, where and why, and some people coming out and some people going in a very short period of time. But I do just want to talk about something that's not slightly transfer related. It's to do with Jose Mourinho. Everyone will know I'm a big fan of Mourinho, but he's gone and put his foot in it again, I feel, in relation to the Paul Scholes comments, which I think, I think some people will stick up for Mourinho on this. I think some people will see where I'm coming from this. So basically, Paul Scholes said at the weekend that Pogba looks a bit unfit, that he looks lazy, etc, etc. And I think Scholes was right. I think Pogba was awful on Saturday against Burnley. I think it was a terrible performance. Sorry, Southampton. Really bad performance, but I thought he was fantastic against Everton. 48 hours after that is a hell of an effort for any sportsman to do that, and he was superb. He played further forward, and I think that's why he did it. Mourinho was asked about it in a press conference. Now, some fans will say he was asked about it, so it's right for him to reply, and I think the brilliance of Mourinho is that he's quite open about things, but actually I think there's a line, and I think Mourinho should have said, I'm not answering questions about ex-players of this club. Instead, he said, Scholes is a phenomenal player, but he's not a phenomenal pundit, and it's not my fault that it's not Paul Pogba's fault that he earned more money than Scholes did. Look, you can read that many ways. And he also said, I hope if Scholes ever decides to be a manager, he's 25% as successful as me. If you are pro Mourinho and what he said, you can say, well, he's just burnt Scholes. Well done. Scholes should keep his mouth shut. If you are pro Scholes, you're going to say that's very disrespectful. Or if, like me, you love Scholes, you love Mourinho, I just think, don't say it. And I know my main Manchester United manager has been Sir Alex Ferguson. That's what I grew up with, and he didn't really jump into things like that. Paul Scholes is probably one of the best players I've ever seen play for Manchester United. As a pundit, I thought he was spot on with Van Gaal. I do sense with the class of '92 they're not 100% about Mourinho, probably because of the way Giggs was treated by the club. I don't know. That's speculation. But the reality is Paul Scholes is a paid pundit. He's not paid by Manchester United, he's a paid pundit, and he's got every right to say what he likes, and a lot of the time he's right and sometimes he's wrong. Roy Keane is wrong most of the time. I still love him, and I would hate Mourinho to say anything negative about Roy Keane. So I don't really like Mourinho saying anything about Scholes. Has a manager of Manchester United got a right to react to that? Yes. Should he react to it? No. We're Manchester United, not Mourinho United. I don't think it's good when a manager starts taking a pop at an ex-pundit. Of course, Scholes has had a pop at his player Pogba, but loads of... Martin Keown said that he'd lost the dressing room. Has he had a pop at him? No, he hasn't. He's had a pop at Scholes because Scholes is a big reputation at Manchester United. So where I'm coming on that is that, look, Mourinho can think what he likes about Scholes. Scholes is a pundit. He's going to say, I think Mourinho, just don't get involved in it. Don't get involved in it. There are already fans that are turning against you a little bit. Don't give fuel to the fire, and certainly don't get into petty arguments with legends of the club. It's just, it's not ideal what Scholes said, but just don't get involved in it. We're Manchester United. Put the reputation of the club over any petty argument you want to get involved in. That's my point. And secondly, I must be honest with you, Jose, I didn't like the manager comment that, Scholes has got to go and be as successful as you as a manager to have a pop at him. That's the sort of thing on the United Stand that we fight against. I don't like this, because you've not been a manager, you're not a player, that your opinion doesn't matter. Most fans thought Pogba was poor on Saturday. Deal with it, move on. He dealt with it, and he responded perfectly against Everton. We're on a high. Why start infighting? I don't like the infighting. I don't like it. But what I did like about Mourinho was when he said that there is a big possibility, I believe that's what he's basically saying. He said he's not going to rule out signing people in January. Who could it be in January? We've been linked to Lucas Moura from PSG. We nearly bought him a few years ago and he chose PSG. That's a big red flag for me anyway. But he's only played 6 times for PSG this season and we're at Christmas. No games in the Champions League. Definitely surplus to requirements, and Manchester United are looking to sign him. If he is a talented player that's just not being used by PSG and he is going to set this league on fire, fantastic. But for me, it's another red flag. One is that he didn't want to join us in the first place. 2, that he's washed up in a French league. This isn't Mr. Messi elect. It's not even bloody Memphis elect. He's not playing for PSG in a pub league, and I don't think he is what Manchester United need. I think he's a risk. I think he's a Mkhitaryan. I don't think he's even a Mkhitaryan signing. I think he's a risk. 5'7", 25, contract up in a year's time. We've been linked to him before. I really genuinely don't think there's anything in it, and I really genuinely don't think we should be looking for a player like that. So who could we be looking for? Well, I'm still holding out that we might go for Goretzka. I think as a midfield option, he'd be perfect, box to box, got absolutely everything. Lots of people think he's, you know, sort of the next Pogba elect. He's out of contract in the summer, but the indication is that he's going to Bayern Munich, and if he wasn't there, it's Liverpool. Why we're not in the race for him? You've just got to assume that he's not a player that United want, really, and that's a shame. You know, over the years, fans see players that they think would be great for Manchester United, but we're not the manager, and Mourinho is, and it doesn't look like we're in for Goretzka. Rumours around Griezmann again. I think the great thing about this January transfer window is that I think we are going to do some business, and I don't think anybody really is getting much of an indication at the moment. I think we will do. I think what tends to happen is that these deals, before they're done, they will get leaked out. But at the moment, you know, people are mentioning Malcolm, people are mentioning Jorginho at Napoli as a midfielder. But I think we're looking for a number 10, and that brings me back to people like Ozil, who apparently is going to miss the game, Arsenal versus Chelsea. I don't know. I'm excited by it. I just feel, I don't know why, I just feel that there is something big that's going to happen. I don't know whether it's going to be as big as a Griezmann, but I think even an Ozil would be. I mean, we were talking yesterday with Sophie on the watch along about Mahrez. You know, even a couple of days ago, I'd have said no about Mahrez, but then I think nobody or Mahrez, I'd take Mahrez, because we need somebody who can provide us some creativity. And I think the Everton result was fantastic, but I still go back to the fact that in that first half, we didn't really cut them open. We didn't create any chances. And I do think Everton were poor, and I do think Liverpool, Spurs, Man City, obviously, Arsenal, Chelsea would have created at least 3 chances in that first half. You know, Lingard's playing brilliant at the moment. Martial scored a great goal. Mata played well. Pogba played well. But they're the attackers. So somewhere something's not going right, that we're not creating chances. As well as they all played, it just sort of shows you that are we happy with efforts because they actually put good effort in and they played quite well? We need somebody to come in and create. We need something a little bit different, and I think definitely hope that's going to happen. And who it might be is very, very intriguing. Who might be going out the door is also intriguing. I don't know whether people noticed Daley Blind's cameo at the end of the Everton game. Some people are saying that that's probably good by Daley Blind. Barcelona have been linked to him. Real Madrid linked to him as well. But I think Daley Blind would fit in perfectly at Barcelona. He's a very good ball-playing midfield stroke defender. At Barcelona, you don't do a lot of defending, and I think he'd suit. There's so much space in the Spanish game. You know, you play 30 games a season against pub teams. I think Daley Blind would fit Barcelona like a glove. And I don't think if he went to Barcelona and was brilliant, we should say, oh, we never should have let him go. As we've seen with Van Marlen and Mascherano, you can go and play as a centre-back there and look very, very good because you've got a cigar on all the time. So I'd like to see that deal done because I think it'd be a good little bit of money. Could it see us go for Z Roberto the other way? I don't know. Even, you know, I nearly said Jordi Alba, but we don't need left back. Luke Shaw's been fantastic lately. Darmian, I still would like to see him go. I did say yesterday I'm slightly concerned that we might not sell anybody in January because of the injuries we've got at the moment. But you know what? I'd rather Darmian went and then I'd trust Twansibi. I really would. So, you know, Darmian, Italian clubs want him. Send him to Juventus, see if we can do something with Dybala or Sandro. We don't need a left back. Fellaini's got to go. Fellaini's got to go. I mean, his latest comments that I don't know whether I'm going to stay at Manchester United even if they offer me a new contract and I've got nothing to prove in England, sort of says to me, this is a guy who really believes his own hype and is playing us, and if he stays at Manchester United, it means we've bent over backwards to give him what he wants, and he's not worth it. Fellaini, great option off the bench, very, you know, obviously very tall, but we play him as a centre defensive midfielder. That's a weakness in Mourinho's psyche that I would like to remove from our club, and he certainly is not worth holding us to ransom. And also, I think ultimately he's a bit of a symbol of what the problem with Manchester United is. With a player who's got loads of efforts, but ultimately wouldn't get in the top 6. I don't want our club to be a club that's full of effort but not good enough to get in the top 6. So I'd like to see Fellaini go, to be honest, because I'd be more excited about what we'd bring in to replace him. Probably Peter Crouch, but we'll see. Anyway, get commenting below. Give us your thoughts. Who do you think Mourinho's talking about in relation to signings this month? And I really want to see what people think about the opening bit around the Scholes debate. Which side do you come down on, Mourinho or Scholes? I'm going to put a poll in the top right-hand corner for you. But also get commenting and give us your thoughts on it. I mean, should he be getting involved in those sort of things? I just think sometimes Mourinho needs to be the bigger man. He's got my full support for what that matters, but... You know, I just think in relation to Scholes, he's sort of having a pop at any fan, anybody who says anything constructive criticism about his club, and I think if he'd had a go against Keown, he'd have got everybody's support. But when you start having a go at somebody who actually has the best interests of Manchester United at heart, I just think it's antagonistic, and I don't think you need to get involved. You know, Keown hates United. If he's having a go at, as you know, Keown said Mourinho's lost the dressing room. Mourinho comes out in a press conference and has a go at Keown. We'd all back him. Scholes says Pogba didn't play very well and looks unfit and lazy. Probably right. On Saturday's performance, Mourinho comes out and has a pop at him. It just doesn't sit right with me. We're not Chelsea. We're Manchester United. We're bigger than that. And that's my thoughts. But get commenting below. I must say, obviously, I'm 100% behind Mourinho in relation to him being our manager. He's exactly the right man. He's the right man for the job. And I'm glad that he put those fires out with that performance at Everton. And, you know, Derby and Stoke to come. Transfer window could be a very exciting month. Anyway, get commenting below. Give us all your thoughts. Thanks for watching. I'll speak to you later on. Don't forget to drop a like if you enjoy Transfer Daily.